The icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go! Wednesday show, June 5th, 2024. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com, and the Fox local app if you are watching live. If you're watching on YouTube, part of the over now 65,000 subscribers on this platform, we say good afternoon to you. Braylon Edwards, the man, the myth, the legend. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
The man, the myth, the legend, that belongs to you, sir. That is the title. Doing well. Looks like it's about to rain outside, but it didn't rain on Monday out there at the DGC. But I met somebody on Sunday, and I thought about you guys. When the whole Juwan Howard situation was going on, Tom Masway said, hey, look, that's probably it. We got to get somebody in here and change it up. We were excited when Dusty May got the job. We were very excited about his cachet. Not only that, but just his energy. Kind of reminded you of PJ Fleck, minus the corners to a certain extent. Well, I got a chance to meet him at the Grand Prix on Sunday, man. And he's a cool guy around the money. I think obviously we won, so optimism is there. He's a heck of a guy, man. I got a chance to talk to him at length, and it was good, man. He has some ideas for the program. I'm excited. He knows that basketball is separate than football, so he's really working on that trail, so I'm excited. And I even helped in the recruiting process. On Monday, he called me. They're recruiting kid out of recruiting kid out of Indiana right now, trying to snatch him from the Hoosiers, and his name is Braylon.
Get out of here.
Spelled the same way, man.
No kidding.
So already, Dusty May, he's good in my book.
He's making an immediate impact at the University of Michigan. Tom Masway making an immediate impact on this show today. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Good to have our boys back. It's always good to have us all back here. And add Kenny G to the program. Pete's here. We got our both superstar interns here today, Joel and James. Things are percolating here at Woodward Sports.
The show has never been better with the team that we have assembled currently right now. And it's a great time to be a part of Woodward Sports. We've got a big show for you today. Huge show for you today. Coming up, hour number 2, we're going to talk to the manager of the Oilers once again, Kenny Holland, former manager of the Detroit Red Wings. The Stanley Cup Final is about to get underway, and Edmonton is going to feature the best player in the National Hockey League and probably one of the best players in the National Hockey League since I don't know. Yeah. But the world is going to get to see Connor McDavid. The country is going to get to see Connor McDavid and how good he is. Florida is so deep, but Edmonton might have the best 2 players on the ice in Connor McDavid and Draisaitl. So we'll talk to Ken about that. And Braylon, news today from Larry Lage of the Associated Press just kind of filtered out, and that was that longtime Detroit Lions reporter with the Detroit News and now, of course, with DetroitLions.com, Mike O'Hara is retiring, has retired on Monday.
Well, he will upcoming.
Or this Monday is retiring. Yep. And so Mike's going to join us in just a couple of minutes. But Mike O'Hara is
I already yelled at him.
Absolute legend in this city, and might be is one of the great writers of my lifetime. 45 years old, so to see Mike O'Hara retire makes me feel some kind of way, but tremendous career for him. And we're going to talk to him in a couple of minutes.
Shocking news. Excited to talk to Mo. You know, Mo's one of our longtime friends. Maz has known him forever, but he's just always a great guy, always very nice, but he's very dialed into what he does. It's funny that Larry broke the story. That's who I golfed with on Monday, Ryan. Larry Lage. So I wish Larry would have told me something, gave me a heads up.
I wish O'Hara would have told me.
He didn't give you the heads up?
No, and I talked to him on Monday.
He didn't give you the heads up.
He's like, it just popped up, man. Like,
can't wait to talk to him. But you mentioned, you mentioned Edmonton. You mentioned Connor McDavid. It's good to see the sport's best player now playing in the finals when it really matters. So you get a chance to see how good this guy is. I got to give all the credit to DJ Tom T, who's always with us. He told me about Connor McDavid about 4 or 5 years ago. Man, he's come through, and now he gets a chance to win it all against the team, Maz, that I said was going to win it all in the Panthers. Now I got changed because I want Edmonton to win and Ken Holland and get another one.
And the great Sean McDonough will be on the call. We'll have Sean on this week as well.
I really like him.
Oh, he's great.
And
let me tell you what a great guy he is on top of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Top of the line, man.
No doubt about it. I really like the way they do their booth, too, in the ABC booth.
He's alone up there.
Where he is alone up there, and Ray Ferraro is down
Chicken Palm.
in between the two benches, calling it ice level. I was a little like, they're kind of reinventing the wheel a little bit when it comes to broadcasting.
It works.
But it does. It's fantastic.
It shows you how good Sean is that he could be on his own upstairs in that booth. That's a hard job, man.
It shows you just how good their chemistry is as well, where you can read somebody that's not even next to you. You can just kind of read what they're saying, big broadcasting dork here, but nonetheless.
Bigger one here.
Detroit Lions minicamp is underway. Dan Campbell spoke, obviously yesterday, he spoke today. One of the things that he did not speak about, but as I watch Lions minicamp and watch all these interviews and stuff like this, I'm trying to figure out what the biggest question mark for the Detroit Lions this year is. And I've settled on it.
I have my own.
What do you think it is?
You really want to?
Yeah.
I don't want to put it in the universe.
Okay.
God forbid Jared Goff gets hurt.
Okay, so health is obviously
I'm talking about the quarterback position.
And I'm not talking about, but I do agree. Like health would be the biggest question mark for anybody.
But that's every year in every team.
I get it. What's yours then?
The biggest question mark that I have for this team this year, or not the biggest question mark, the biggest challenge, I think, is when you haven't done something like win a division, like win a playoff game, like make an NFC championship game. When you haven't done anything like that, it's a lot easier to focus on the here and now, to focus on today's practice, to focus on today's session of practice, to focus on one game at a time. But when you have won a division championship, won 2 playoff games, won 2 home playoff games, should have been in the Super Bowl last year, I think it is harder to do that, to focus in the micro instead of, you know what, let's win the division. We'll win the division. We'll win the playoffs. You have to stay in the here and now. And I think that is the coaching staff's biggest challenge, is to get these players to focus on today and not, hey, let's take this month and win, 3 games in 4 or you understand what I'm saying?
Of course.
And Braylon, as a former player, maybe so much when you were in the Jets and not so much when you were with Cleveland, but when you were with the Jets and you make the AFC Championship game, how easy or hard was it to come back that next season in 2010, it would be, the second year, and not just automatically put yourselves in that position again?
It was tough in the beginning. I think, we thought that we were going to win that game. We lose the AFC Championship to Indianapolis Colts. It was long off season. We bring in some additions. We stayed the course in off season. I think that's where it starts. In the off season, we got together. Guys weren't half here, half over here, or, I'm going to be in Florida. I'm going to be down here in California. No, everybody was locked into Florham Park. Maz knows all about Florham Park and where that's at. We locked in through the season, and it started off rough. We started off on opening night, was Monday Night Football. We played against the Baltimore Ravens. It was, Rex versus his former team, the Baltimore Ravens, where he was the defensive coordinator when they won the Super Bowl. So it was a lot on the line. We lose that game, and instantly we're like, oh, man, we're not the team we thought we were. Here we go. So how do we get back? Just one game at a time. I think we got it early. For us, it happened early. We lost opening night, Monday Night Football. We took it. We lost 10-7 or whatever the score was. That refocused us. That dialed us in. And that taught us, hey, look, the end of the season will be the end of the season. You just got to worry about the teams that are in front of you. But it happened early for us. Who's know if the Lions are going a 7-0 run? And it doesn't happen late. But refocusing, being there, though, Ryan, it helps you understand how to get back there.
You got punched in the mouth early, though.
Got punched in the mouth early.
And that could happen to the Lions.
That's what I'm saying. It's kind of the point right there. Guys, we're going to go to the phone lines right now and bring in the guy we were talking about just moments ago, Mike O'Hara, retiring on Monday, DetroitLions.com, longtime reporter of the Detroit Lions, one of the greats this city has ever seen. Mike, how are you? Thanks for the time, my friend. Congratulations to you, sir.
Hey, Mo.
Hey guys, thank you very much. But that long sounded awfully long. I don't think I'm that long. I don't think I'm that old.
You're not. You're not. Mike, just talk to us about what goes into that decision because, I mean, just on the heels of last year, still obviously from my perspective as a consumer, you're at the top of your game. What goes into that decision?
Well, being 78 going on 79 has something to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I probably could have retired, 2, 3, 4 seasons ago and justified it then. So it's a lot of things. It's not one thing, but the decision comes down to eventually it's one thing. All the information you have, all the experiences you have, things you like, things you sort of just live with or tell. You just. There's certain things in life that it's just time.
Mike, did last season's success where you win a division championship, you win 2 home playoff games, and you see what this vision of Ford Field could be and what these fans have waited for and deserved for so long, did it feel like kind of a going away present a little bit?
No, not like that. I wouldn't say that. It just sort of like what you were talking before there. Just like a player, you take these things one game at a time, one week at a time, one off day at a time, and go on with it. And that's look. I've been in the business a long time, and that's basically how I've operated since I got hired by the Detroit News in 1966 as a copy boy and became a reporter the next year. So, I just kind of just follow along with what's going on and take it as it comes.
67 years in the business, Mo, if I did my math correct. And we were lucky here in Detroit to have you.
Don't put Mo's business out there. Don't count Mo's years like that, man. He
To
doesn't
have
want
you
everybody to know that.
and Kurt Sylvester on the Free Press side. I mean, you two, I call you the dynamic duo. Matter of fact, you, me, and him, we always talked about, hey, we should do a show together and call it the Freepin News Show. Remember those days, Mo? WJR.
Yeah.
I mean, you're killing me doing this. You're absolutely killing me.
Well, sorry about that. I'll try to reimburse you some way.
Hey, man, out of all the things that you've written about, and I know but my 2 favorite sports, well, besides football, are boxing and horse racing. And I think those 2 are near and dear to your heart as well.
Oh, loved them both. Look, I covered some big fights in my day and loved it. Actually, I at one time had Muhammad Ali's home phone number.
Wow.
Think about that. First time I dialed it, I was thinking to myself, this is like calling Marilyn Monroe up for a date. I don't belong doing this.
Wow.
I'm not kidding.
Did he answer?
Took my hand off the
Did he answer, Mo?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I took my hand off the phone like 5 times before I finally had the guts to follow through and call. Yeah. And you know what? He couldn't have been, just like the guy who told me, gave me the number. He couldn't have been nicer.
Oh, he was my favorite.
He was living out in L.A. at the time, and that phone rings, and I'm just about to hang up, and he goes, hello? I go, Mr. Ali, yeah, can I help you? And we went on for about, I was expecting a half an hour. We went on for about 45 minutes.
Jeez.
And could have gone longer, but it was time to hang up.
What were you writing about at that point? What fight was it? Was it his comeback against Joe Frazier? Was it his 3rd comeback against Spinks? What was it?
No, he actually wasn't coming back. It was just some general stuff in boxing.
Okay.
A lot of it, I think, had to do with Tommy Hearns and, big fights and getting ready and stuff like that. He was very insightful on the things he had to say.
And the horse racing, you've covered many Triple Crowns. I know you've given – this is what O'Hara's done for me, guys. You know what kind of horse racing fan I am, okay? This guy covered quite a number of Triple Crown winners. We're talking Secretariat, Seattle Slew, Affirm, the whole 9 yards. He gives me all his stuff from the racetracks that he collected.
I wanted to just –
I knew that was you, Ryan.
That was me calling you.
That's my phone ringing, Mo. I don't know if you heard it, but it's the call to the post.
I heard it.
It's the call to the post. I'm ready to run to the window.
That's my drop. That's the best way I can handle a drop.
Thanks, Ryan. So Mo gives me all his stuff. I have all the programs. I got a winning ticket on Seattle Slew, uncashed. I got all of Mike O'Hara's stuff from the track. And I just love you, man. That's all. I just want to tell you that.
Well, I appreciate that, Tommy. I really do.
Mo, we definitely love you here. You know, my mom loves you dearly. Every time you come on, she says, I like O'Hare. I like O'Hare. A great journey, a long, lengthy career in this industry. Is there any year that sticks out more than others? I know me, I'm kind of starting in the media industry, but last year was one of those years. I look at like 2023, Michigan Lions, it's like the Red Wings, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. So that's a huge one in my short media career. Is there one like that stands out for you?
1968 Tigers win the World Series. That's by far because it came a year after the riots, and just sort of had a soothing for the city of Detroit and then the suburbs and all that in the outlying districts. But 1968 it pops out like that. I had some other things that I really loved to cover, and maybe not as important, but for example, 1969 Lakers versus Celtics at the Forum in L.A. Game 7, Russell versus Wilt. Best football game I've ever covered in my life.
Football. I love it.
Hey,
I'm sorry, basketball game.
Yeah, exactly. We know what you meant.
Hey, speaking of football, Mike, what would you say? Would it be the Barry Sanders retirement?
Yeah.
Obviously, is the craziest moment of your career?
It certainly was a difficult one. I knew that, and I was convinced right from the beginning. I think Tommy knows this too. There was another reporter who worked for ESPN, and he had just a little item in one of his columns. This was in the off season, that Barry Sanders wasn't particularly happy with what was going on.
Yep.
So I called him. I think Tommy, you might remember this. You might be working. Yeah. And so I called the house. William Sanders, the father, answered. And I introduced myself, and he knew you because we talked to him a lot, not just me, but the other guys. And I said, "Look, I've read this story from an ESPN reporter. What do you say to it?" And without batting an eye or whatever, he said, "He's sick of them. He's sick of losing." Whoa! Hold on, folks. That just started that really started the speculation in earnest that Barry Sanders might not report, might retire, whatever. It turned out he did all three. Did not report, did not, and retired. I guess that's only two.
It's sick of them, sick of losing, and this organization for the better part of 60 years did a lot of losing, Mike, and now they're doing a lot of winning, and it looks like they're going to be doing a lot of winning for a long time. What do you think is the biggest reason that Sheila Hamp has turned this thing around? Because I do think you have to give the owner a majority of the credit for this, which Sheila Hamp has done to change this franchise's image, to change its culture, to just change its losing ways. I think she deserves all the credit. What has she done, in your opinion, that William Clay didn't do?
Well, I'm not going to really get into Mr. Ford, but I think one component in this that a lot of us don't readily accept or don't maybe not believe, but I think it started, and I think she was right to follow this with Mrs. Ford, Martha Firestone Ford, when she took over after Mr. Ford passed away, and I think it was 2013. She took over the 2014 season. You had a new coach, and really changed a lot of things. They were 11-5 that year, and then got shafted by the playoff game against the Cowboys.
Yep.
And then when they started the next season, 1-7, she fired like 2 or 3 coaches, 2 or 3 personnel people, front office people, whatever. And in her speech, which had lasted about a minute and a half, right here at Allen Park, she said, "This does not mean I want these players to give up. I expect them to win." Well, they almost won. If it hadn't been for that Hail Mary touchdown against the Green Bay Packers, they would have rallied and won. And then she had 2 more winning seasons, a couple of playoff berths, and things started to go. Now they fell apart under the next regime, and I get that. But Mrs. Ford was not accepting anything except the very best that she could get out of that team, and I think Sheila has taken it to another level.
Mo, looking forward, you're going to retire in a few days. What are you going to miss the most about not covering this game? And I know how much you love football.
I think it's probably not just the game itself. It's probably just sitting around the press room talking to guys. You know, insults, the whole thing. I think that was.
That's all you ever do is insults.
Well, that's what I do.
Exactly. But it's a fun time, man. It's always been a great time. The Silverdome was a fun time. Ford Field is now a home field that they could be proud of. What do you expect out of this team going forward, Mo?
I expect another division title. I think they might go something, maybe a step down in terms of their win-loss record because it's a little tougher schedule. But instead of 12-5, they might go 11-6, but still be the dominant team of the NFC North and challenge the San Francisco 49ers to go to the Super Bowl as champions of the NFC. What would it be? The NFC, National Football Center. Yeah.
Well, I think you're picking a heck of a time to step down as it relates to the college game. And I know you're more so looped in with the Detroit Lions, but that college game in terms of the NIL, in terms of what they're allowing colleges to do now, in terms of what's going on, it is literally, we said the Wild West before, it's even gotten even worse. So I think you're stepping down at the right time, Michael O'Hara.
Well, yeah, I think so. We'll find out. Although, it was in 2008. I took a buyout from the Detroit News, and I was retired for almost a year. I felt fine. I dealt easily with it. Just a good opportunity came up with. I forget exactly who it was, but I had a couple of years working for somebody, and then got hired by the Detroit Lions to do the work on their website. And it worked out for me. Worked out for Tim Twentyman. We had a lot of fun. Did a lot of good work.
You going to stick around, Mo, a little bit, and maybe do a column here and there for him?
That is unlikely.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
That's not what retire means, right, man?
Can I give you my favorite Mike O'Hara story?
I probably heard it, but go ahead.
We did hear it, but just for the new audience. So I played in high school. Kurt Sylvester was my baseball coach for the summer. Kurt was a great baseball coach.
He's still playing.
Yes, still playing.
Yep,
Love Kurt Sylvester.
Yeah.
So in 1999, when I interned with Fox 2, I was out at Lions training camp. And when I played for Kurt, he would always call me Mr. Ermanni, and I would call him Kurt. It was so it was just kind of like whatever. So we were at Lions training camp, and I was talking to Kurt, and you walked up, and Kurt introduced me to you. He's like, "Hey, look, this is Ryan Ermanni. He's an intern at Channel 2. He's used to play for me, and I used to call him Mr. Ermanni, and he called me Kurt." And you looked at me and said, "You can call me Mr. O'Hara."
Look,
it was so great. Oh man, it was awesome, Mike. Well, I'll tell you, we are so happy for you, and I think I speak for everybody in the city of Detroit and in the Metro Detroit area, the state of Michigan, any Lions fan that thanks for the years and the decades of great Lions coverage. This town is a football town above all else, and you more so than anybody have kept us informed on that football team and everything that's happened with them. So thank you from me and us and everybody that is a consumer of Lions-related material. Thanks, Mike.
Well, I appreciate that, but there are a lot of good guys out here, right? Doing great stuff. It's a great, what I call newspaper town, and it still is.
And Mo, before you leave, set me up tonight's Tiger game for me. Go ahead. Tell the people.
You mean with it?
You know what I'm talking about.
A nothing, an insurmountable 0-0 tie.
The Detroit Tigers are facing a 0-0 insurmountable tie. Nice job, Mo.
Thanks, Mike. We appreciate it, buddy.
Appreciate
all
you,
the best.
Love you, man.
All right, guys.
I owe you dinner.
Mike O'Hara, just one of the greats, man. So good.
I had so much fun with that guy.
And man, I'll tell you, you talk about the football part. He did write about other things too, you had talked about.
Big boxing guy, big horse racing guy, and he was a Vietnam vet, and the guy that fought with him, a bunkmate of his, was Al Gore.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Al Gore.
No kidding.
Yeah.
How about that? So anyway, guys, we're going to talk to Ken Holland coming up, top of hour number 2. So we'll do that. I do want to continue on with the Detroit Lions as well, because I think they're a fascinating story right now. So we'll talk Lions. And again, I like to explore a little bit of what I think the biggest challenge for Dan Campbell is. How do you get your guys to stay focused on the day at hand, the week at hand? We'll do that coming up next. But first, a message from Swiss.
Yes, sir. Swiss Insurance. Now more than ever, it is critical for you to have your insurance reviewed. Swiss Insurance will make sure that your carrier is not slipping in extra fees. Call Mark at Swiss today at 313-530-1698, or you can go to SwissINS.com.
And then head on over to Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. $10 a month is all it costs to get yourself in shape. Summertime is here, ladies and gentlemen. It's not too late to get the summertime body that you want, because also they do it at your own pace. It's home of the judgment-free zone, where you can work out at your own pace. Nobody's judging you. They're just letting you get in shape. Do it your way. 30-minute total body workout is also there for you. So, look, you just come to Planet Fitness. They'll take care of the rest.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness, and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody!
Congratulations to the real coach of the year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, let me tell you about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. That's right. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. That dealership located in the great city of Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. And, of course, if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. All 4 GM brands under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Together, let's drive.
And you can drive on over to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Awesome is when a guy can be a guy and get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop in, sit back, relax, and let one of Lady Jane's talented stylists make you look and feel great. You could walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
All right, guys, we are talking about the Detroit Lions now, and at the top of the hour, I had mentioned what I think Dan Campbell's biggest challenge is. I think Dan Campbell's biggest challenge is keeping these guys focused on the right now. Getting them focused about today's practice, today's session, not having them look ahead. And I think that's much easier to do when you haven't done anything yet. When you haven't won a division championship, when you haven't won a playoff game, when you haven't won a home playoff game. You should have won the NFC championship game. We can debate that till we're blue in the face, but we all think they should have won that game. But how do you get these players to not look ahead? How do you get these players to not look beyond, not even look at week one against the Rams? You shouldn't even be looking at week one against the Rams right now.
You have to.
You should be looking at how you can get better today. And I think they were able to do that last year. I think they were able to do that easily last year because of all the great momentum that this franchise had building off the 8-2 finish to the 22 year.
I forgot, like they went 9-7.
9-8.
9-8, and then the following year they win freaking 11 games?
12.
Oh, you won
12 games. 12-5, man.
12-5, man.
Yeah.
3-13-1, 9-8.
So they're gonna finish somewhere between that 9 and 12 this year. They are. That's what I say they will. And what you're saying is you can't look ahead. But to me, what else are you playing football for? What are you looking for? To play in July and August against the Giants when you have the practices with them? Is that what you're looking for?
I think the really good teams, the teams that have really mastered. If you watch that New England Patriots documentary,
I loved it.
The 10-part on Apple TV. One of the things that I took away from that New England team is they were so uber focused on the right now. What's in front of them? Don't even worry about Friday's practice or Friday's walkthrough. Worry about goal line today. You know, really win that practice. And it sounds so simple, but I think that's how the good teams do it. That's how the winning teams win consistently. And you know that better than anybody.
100%. Before I get into my experience in the league, you look at the Lions last year. The Lions came off of 9-8, thought they were going to be in the playoffs. We all know what happens with the Seattle Seahawks game. Insert that. Forget about that. That whole offseason, you know what they had to think about? One, getting into the playoffs, getting better, building upon what they did in the second season, 2022. But they found out that they were playing the Chiefs. Don't you think for 1 second that they didn't think about the Chiefs all summer long? And it'll be the same this year with the Rams. But the thing is, you're just worrying about them just a little bit. You still do your drills. You still do what's going on. Whatever is asked of you in these mini camps and these OTAs, and these personal private practices that you're doing with your coaches. You're worried about what's going on, 100%.
Totally agree with you.
You stay present in the moment. But there's going to be a 10-minute period, Ryan, every day where they go over something for the Rams, where they go over, hey, you know what, let's go over their third down. Let's go over their second down. Let's go over their red zone. Let's go on their special teams. You're going to cover a little bit because you're going to focus on that. Whenever you have that kind of game opening on the season, you want to spend just a little bit of time.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I think you make a great point, and you're helping me make my point, though, too. I think when you have a game like that on a big stage like that, I do think that helps you for sure maybe get that one extra rep in.
True, it does.
Kind of hone in on that one piece of today's practice a little bit more. Hey, if we're in this situation, 3rd and 9 late in the fourth quarter, this is what we've got to do because we're playing the Rams. You know what I mean? You do transition to that, and it helps you get through today a lot easier.
What do you think the Rams are thinking?
Well, they're doing the same thing. So I'm not saying, any team has any advantage. If anybody has the advantage, it would be the Rams because the Rams are pissed that they lost that game, and they're pissed at how they lost that game, especially with the two flags that could have gone either way. We know which way they should have gone. But it takes me back to Lloyd, being at the University of Michigan, Maz and Ryan. We lost to Washington. Speaking, I guess this would be from the Rams side of things. We lost to Washington my freshman year. We go out there, game 2, we lose in 0-1. Then in 2002, first game of the year, Washington's now coming to Ann Arbor. that whole offseason, everything was about the Huskies. I'm talking about I was having nightmares about Rock batting as a DB, Rock Alexander, or dreams of grandeur. Hey, look, I know I'm going to go out here, I'm going to score my first touchdown, I'm going to do this, I'm going to make sure I have this assignment. It's like the Dirty Dozen. It's like the Dirty Dozen. They kept going over the plan for the end of the movie. This is my plan. This is my plan. This is what you do. You keep going over it and over it, and you beat into your head. And when we played Washington, we were ready. We won the game, and it was a good game. But to my point, Lloyd, he knew how to Dallas into Washington. But at a certain point, Dan Campbell was going to have to pull the team back too and focus on the here and now. And that's where you bring up a great point, staying present and not focusing too much on one team.
What Braylon said earlier about the Jets losing to the Ravens in week 1.
Oh, it hurt.
I'm afraid of the Ram game as a Lion fan. I am. I'm afraid of that Rams game because Sean McVay is pissed. You think he wants to lose 2 times to Jared Goff? You think Matthew Stafford wants to come in here and walk out with another L? They're going to be very tough, and they're going to be an underdog. That's a tough start. And then you got the Buccaneers the following week, also a playoff team. Back-to-back weeks. That's a tough start of the season.
That's a heck of a tough start. You're absolutely right, Maz. We know what happened in the playoffs last year. Look, the Bucs were another team. That defense picked up at the right time. They peaked. They got their defensive player out of Pitt, Kalijah Cansey. He started coming along. You see who got paid this offseason from Antoine Winfield, arguably the best safety in the game, definitely the best blitzing safety in the game. But the good thing about it is it's 17 games to go now in this season. So the Lions, I wouldn't be mad if the Lions lost this game. And I know people are going to look at me and say, blasphemy, how dare you talk about it. I wouldn't be mad if they lost. It recalibrated us to a certain extent with the Jets. Lose to Baltimore, it recalibrated us, and then we were able to really dial into the season early. This Rams game, it's just one game. And I think that's what Dan Campbell, as a former player, understands as well. But if they lose it, get it out the way early sometimes.
Hey, it's 3 months away.
I'm not worried about the game like it's the season. I put it to you that way.
I know, but it's a home game. You're opening the season with 2 home games.
Ours was at home. We lost. It was at MetLife.
And yours was a Monday. This is a Sunday night. Yeah. I mean, it's almost the same thing.
100%. We walked off that field, and it was – we didn't even say much about it, Ryan. Like, it was one of those things where Rex came in the locker room.
Well, it's a close loss, right?
It was 10-7.
Okay.
Or 10-7
so
or 10-9.
if it's a good loss, that's okay. But if it's a bad loss, that ain't okay.
At the end of the day, I just think it's so early in the season, 17 games, a 19-week season. Like, you lose early on a team like this, a team that has been vetted now. Like, this is actually an experienced team now, whether people want to accept it or not. The Lions are an experienced team. They lose early. Dan Campbell will get these guys going. But the main thing is to, like you keep saying, stay present in this offseason.
I think we're going to learn a lot about the Detroit Lions in week 1, much like we learned a lot about them last year in week 1. I think they really took the country by storm. Nobody expected the Lions to go in. I think they were a touchdown underdog and win the game against Kansas City at Arrowhead. But most of us said, I think, and I know I certainly did, but I think we all agreed, if there was ever a time to play Kansas City, it was week 1 at Arrowhead. You don't want to play them when they're rolling in December. You don't want to play them when they're rolling in November. You want
Jones
to play
was
them.
out, and you had Travis Kelce.
And how many times do we see a championship team? We see a lot, like in the NBA, baseball, and certainly in the NFL. You see that championship ceremony. You see that banner being the banner being unveiled, and everybody getting their rings, and that team lay an egg that day. You know what I mean? That's
we got
really the opportunity to get them.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true. Kansas City, they got the rings. You're like, okay, they don't have this guy, they don't have that guy. They get excited about last season, but this year it's not a team that is getting a ring. It's a team that they want to get a ring, much like you. They want to get another one, and that's Matt Stafford.
This is a different team, guys. This is a better team than they were last year.
The Lions or the Rams are both.
I'm going to say much better.
Yeah.
I'm talking about our Lions.
Too.
Much better.
I think they are too. I think they're a much better team than they were last year. I really do.
They fixed every league.
And they could win less games, is what I'm that might sound ridiculous, but they might win 11 instead of 12 and 10. Be better. I don't know about that. I don't think they win 10, but
I'm just saying.
I think 11 is the floor if healthy.
Now, if you want to say a team is better but they can't lose 2 less games, man. It's like, I understand losing 1. If you go 11 wins, hey, look, you're still a great team. 11-6, you figured it out. Something happened here or there. Somebody didn't play. You caught somebody at the right time or the wrong time in that case. But you lose 2 less games. Now you're starting to go back to the way you were the year before. But just getting back to the Lions team, and we make so much about the offseason. We see PFF, the grades. We see ESPN, the grades. We see my 33rd team, the grades. Shout out to Amon-Ra, big fan and brother of the show. We see these things and we get excited, but there are still real questions. Why did DJ Reader not get the deal in Cincinnati? Why did Davenport not get the deal in Minnesota and stay there? Are we going to be okay with Emmanuel Mosley, who got injured last year, and we gave him another contract to come on this year? There are still some real good questions that we want to see answered. We believe that this is the team. We believe that they answered those needs in the right way. But this is football. Just like we got better, everybody else got better, and we got to see if those moves really pan out. So I'm excited, very optimistic, but I do think they got better.
Last year you had leaks, right? You had leaks in the secondary, which led to the quarterback not getting knocked on his rear end, okay? Dan Campbell spoke about this team yesterday. He spoke about the secondary, how they're new, how he doesn't even know how to put a lineup together. Check this out.
It's a great place to be in. We have so many options right now, so much competitiveness. AG and we're talking about it again. AG and I were the other day. And Brad and I are talking about it every evening. I mean, it's like, the talent level, the competitiveness, the versatility. Like, honestly, we have no idea who our starting lineup's going to be right now, and it's exciting. It's so good. Like, there's no telling who's going to be our outside corners, who's going to be our nickel, who's going to be our safeties. I mean, this thing is wide open across the board, and it's going to be great to let these guys compete and just go after it and see who goes and is going to be the most reliable guys for us, most dependable. So it's exciting.
Ryan, we talked about this team as they start to get better. You said this, and that's why I want to throw it right to you. You said once they were 9-8, hey, we're going to have to face the facts. This is becoming a good team. Some good players aren't going to make this roster. We're not going to be able to have all the good players stay on the team because we got better players. And that's exactly what's going on. That's exactly what Dan Campbell was talking about. And look, it's an open roster because if you look at our roster, we got some talent. We got some talent.
One of the jobs of any coach is to figure out how to get the most amount of talented players on the field at one time. You have a ton of talent on that defensive backfield now with the 2 draft picks first and foremost. And we won't even, Terry and Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. Them aside, then you've got Brian Branch from a year ago. Then you've got Carlton Davis and Amik Robertson. You've got 5 players. Don't forget about Kirby Joseph. That's 6.
I forgot about him.
Melifonwu, fine, but that's 7. I'm just going to go. Forget about Melifonwu for a second. Just 1 second. And look at those 6 players that I just named. And Melifonwu wasn't even one of them. If you want to add him, 7 players. How many of those guys can you get on the field at one time?
I don't know.
And how often can you rotate? And then you have to consider the type of player that those individuals are.
Yeah.
Those are team guys, not me guys. Those players came here with a willingness to compete. Those players understand when they come here, they are going to compete for time. They're not going to be given anything. And I do think it takes a special athlete. It takes a special player to understand that part of it too, and not be some malcontent and not yell at the coaches and not demand this, demand that. The coach is literally telling you, I'm open, guys. You sort it out. I'm not going to sort anything out. You sort it out. And I think it takes a special player to do that.
The thing I love about it is it's led by a special guy, and that guy is Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn, we saw what he was able to do in his NFL career. He was a tremendous player. He was a Pro Bowl type player, but he's a guy that sold out for the team. Sold out consistently for his team, make sure his team had everything they needed out of him. And I think that's what that's the energy that these players pick up on. The good thing that's going to happen, though, Ryan and Money, right now, you got a bunch of guys that are, for the team, and, it's the collective. It's whatever I can do. I want to get on the field whatever way you need me to be so that I can make the play for this defense or this offense. But stars are going to start to rise to the forefront. You need stars to win in this league. And what I mean by that, you got to have that star attitude. You got to have that ego a little bit. I don't care if you're a team guy. You still got to have that confidence where you're like, shoot, they give me the ball. I know it's on and popping. Or put me in the game. Who's balling on offense? What wide receiver? Put me on him. I got something for him this week. Much like you saw Stephon Gilmore do to A.J. Brown last year. You got to have guys that had that confidence. And out of this competition, in the spring, in the summer, and eventually the fall, you'll start to see what guys ascend to the top of that list. It's great to have team guys. It's great to have everybody play together, but eventually somebody has to take over. Much like Amon-Ra St. Brown did. You realize that he's not just a wide receiver on the team, he's a superstar. I think that's what's going to happen in the secondary and his defense. Outside of Aiden Hutchinson, you'll start to see a couple superstars emerge from this team.
Hey, I was a big fan last year of CJ. They went out and got him. And he got hurt in game 2. And you really don't know what he could have brought to this team. He did bring a swagger to this team. It kind of wore thin at the end of the year, especially in the NFC Championship game when he got up on the bench and started, raking with the 49er fans. But that all said, he is gone. They brought a guy in from the Oakland Raiders, from the Vegas Raiders. The little guy. Robertson. His name is Amik Robertson. I want to tell you about this guy. This guy he's got a heart of a lion. Have you seen any video on this guy, any tape on this guy, he's going to be a favorite of the Lions. And I'm going to tell you right now, he is going to start. Here's Dan Campbell on Amik Robertson.
You just said, I don't care if he's inside or outside, the guy competes. I mean, he is a feisty, competitive, challenging corner who has versatility to play in and out. And so, yeah, that's always going to appeal to us. The more flexibility you have in and out is always going to, because you can do more jobs, right? It's easier to get you to the game. But the first thing that pops off the tape is how much he challenges and competes. I mean, there was no denying that. So we knew he'd fit right in here with us.
This guy is something, man. He sticks up for the team. Right?
Yeah.
Name a guy on any of your teams that even back in Michigan all the way through the pros. You have that one guy that would go and stick up. Like what Caitlin Clark needs on her team, this guy is that guy.
It's funny, and as you were talking about CJ last year, came in, Maz, he was your guy. He was the guy you wanted in free agency. We don't know what he could have been because of injuries and because of how when he came back, how it played out. But you always take a little bit from certain individuals or a certain thing. When you have a failed relationship, you don't look at everything that failed in the relationship. What worked in the relationship? Let me add this to my next. It was
always good times.
100%. Let me add this to the next relationship, and maybe let me not add this other stuff. I think what you saw at CJ was that swag, that energy, having each other's back, not backing down from anybody. These are good things for the Lions to hold on to on that defense, and I think Amik Robertson coming on. When he got picked up, like I started watching some film because he was a short guy. You start watching film. He backs up this stuff that he talks about. He is in every play. He plays bigger than he is. He has no fear. And I think that's what CJ had. Now, I'm not saying he's a replacement for CJ, but in the fact that he has no fear, people gravitate towards certain energy, and you start adding it into your repertoire and what you are. You see guys are fearless that are next to you. Well, what am I scared of? What am I overly thinking? I need to be fearless like this guy is. When you're fearless, it doesn't say you don't make mistakes, but you don't make many of them because you come back again and again and again. You deal with adversity.
Look at the Legion of Boom that you played with.
Now they were
Earl Thomas, and you got Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman made his name.
Cam Chancellor.
Yeah,
Bobby Wagner.
In your face. In your face.
But you know what? The thing that I see in them and I see in the Lions. Now I want to see this fully in the secondary. Is they held each other accountable. They could talk to each other a certain type of way, and it wasn't, there's beef between Earl and Richard Sherman. There were plenty of arguments between Earl and Richard Sherman. Cam Chancellor, they got into it. They will hold each other accountable, though. Maxwell, the DB on the other side, or Jeremy Ivy on the other side. Hold each other accountable. Make sure you're getting the best out of each other. When you do that, you play to the best of your ability. And I think that's what a guy like Amik Robertson can bring to the table is, look, I'm going to hold you accountable, much like we thought CJ would be.
Mentioned 7 defensive backs. A couple of guys in the chat said, what about Vildor and Emmanuel Mosley?
Vildor. And Mosley.
But again, there's 9 guys right there, which I think if you would have had 4 of them, you'd feel like you were in a good spot. You got 9.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Pick any 4 of those 9 guys, and any Lions fan would say we're in a decent spot back there. But you got 9 of those players. That's pretty darn good. That's a strength of this team, and you can never have enough defensive backs.
It's amazing. I mean, where they've come from. It's remarkable. They come from, unfortunately, a failed number 1 pick out of Ohio State that they were putting the weight of the world on his shoulders.
And again, though, this is now up to Aaron Glenn and Dan Campbell and them to figure out, how to use these guys, how to best utilize these guys
together.
And one of the things about that Dan Campbell soundbite, I'm not sure anybody caught this, but Dan Campbell was like, I talked to AG about that a few days ago, and I talk to Ben every night.
Exactly. I caught that.
You know? It's like,
it's like when you tell me,
right?
It's like when you guys send me something to put on the rundown, and it's already on the rundown. It's basically the same thing. Ryan's like, hey, I sent you that. I'm like, it's been on for 2 days. It's been on the rundown.
I send you stuff off of Instagram.
That's a problem.
So I know I'm not double sending things. That's all. But that's how it is though. You love your side of the ball. Like look, when I was in New England, not New England, I never was there. When I was with New York with the Jets, Rex never came to the offensive meetings. I'm not sure Rex and Brian Schottenheimer even talked that much, but Rex was always next to Mike Pett. And those guys were like this because Rex is a defensive guy. That's how NFL coaches are, man. Like they hire the one.
So funny.
They're like, look, if I'm an offensive guy, look, I'm going to hire a defensive guy that I trust. Hey, look, go do your thing. And that's what he did in Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn is a former teammate. He's also a brother in arms in the NFL. So he trusts him, and he lets him do his thing.
And how far ahead the Detroit Lions are right now, not only with their head coach, there's a bunch of teams that have the same head coach. This team virtually has the same exact coaching staff for 4 years now, virtually. Not really, but they do have the same coordinators for
all of
years
them
now. Outside of Anthony Lynn
and Aubrey
Pleasant. This is a coaching staff.
And Dre Bly last year.
Yeah, I mean, there have been additions.
Right.
But what I'm saying is the majority of these coaches have been together this is their 4th year.
And now you're adding Terrell Williams in.
Absolutely.
The right-hand man of Mike Vrabel all those years and Dan Campbell's friend. He's going to coach that D-line. Look out, man.
Just how far ahead you can be as an organization on the field when you have this amount of consistency off of it.
Yeah, and don't sleep on who they brought in the DB. They brought in Deshae Townsend, the guy that played for years in this league, at a high level for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Sometimes you have to vet the process, and the DB position is one of those positions that it seems like each year we're having to bring a different guy in and figure it out. But what has Dan Campbell done? He's brought a different guy in to figure it out. This time they got Deshae Townsend. I've known him since the Jerome Bettis camp. Back in the day, Ryan Ermanni, when he used to do it in the early 90s here in Detroit and Highland Park. So Deshae's a guy I know personally, but on the field, he was that deal as well. So I'm excited to see what this secondary could be under new leadership and how they respond to Deshae Townsend, someone with a heavy resume.
Can we play already?
Well, what is it? 3 months until
it's like 90 days.
2 months until preseason.
I know. I'm ready, man.
I did hear Dan Campbell. I think it was a couple of days ago. Dan Campbell did talk about like the 18th game of the season, and he said he does not like 18 games. He does not like taking a preseason game away in lieu of a regular season game. And he talked about how you just need young guys at any point in the season. You need young guys to contribute. And what he said was, what you may see as a young guy that helped us last year, but what you didn't see was how those reps in preseason games really helped get that guy be ready for the regular season. So yes, while the vets hate the preseason, and while the fans hate the preseason, and maybe the league hates the preseason, the reps that those young guys get in those preseason games, even if it's one of them, one guy that can help them, you cannot underscore how much that experience helps these young guys get ready.
But it's getting replaced now by joint practices. And they've been doing that for a long, long time. But now it's scaled up.
I think that's good for the veterans, Maybe not
Why
for
can't
the
you
young
play?
guys in a game situation with a second deck and a third deck in the stadium.
Well, how about I ask you, Bray? If you're playing a week with the Giants, why can't you just take, all right, hey, Thursday, we're going to have a game and have your game? You don't need it to be on television. You don't need to make it a preseason game.
So you said a full-out scrimmage.
Yeah. Play a scrimmage. What's wrong with that?
That's tough because it's a non-sanctioned NFL event, and if somebody gets hurt in that space, I think the owners and coaches will be liable versus
that part.
But it's a practice.
It is, but
it's not what you're saying.
100%.
Braylon's got this right.
It's kind of, it's one of those things where, hey, look, we're giving you permission to have, non-tackle, a little bit of two-hand touch, which will shadow situations so that you guys get better. But we're not trying to risk a game because if we're going to allow you guys, it comes down to money.
Well, what's the difference? Right. What's the difference if I'm going to get hurt in the preseason game or in practice?
Because in the preseason game, they have to pay to go to the stadium. Like in the preseason game, NFL still gets money.
Oh, for God's sake.
It's like a preseason game may be preseason in the sense that the records don't matter, but it's still a real dress rehearsal for the season. Tickets cost, popcorn cost, stadium cost, you got to pay ushers, etc. So
I hear you.
it's a scrimmage, it's an exhibition, but at the same time, it's a paid concept.
But I'm just telling you, there's a way around the preseason. That's the way around the preseason.
You're going to get some ugly football, and you're going to get some lopsided scores if you just go the way of getting rid of the preseason. Like, look, as a former player, yes, do we complain about the preseason? Hell yeah. Like, I hated the preseason. Like, I didn't like playing in game 1. We didn't have to play game 2 a little bit. Game 3, the real dress rehearsal, and then game 4, maybe one series and you're done.
What's the real game now? There's only 3 games.
There is no real game because some teams don't even like the players to play. We saw a lot of that last year. But what I say is, even not liking it, it still got me ready for the season. It still got me ready to get in my routine. It still got me ready to go against actual opposite competition on the other side, not looking at the same DBs. If I'm Amon-Ra St. Brown, I've been looking at Carlton Davis II now for the better part of 4 months. I want to see real opposition. I want to not know exactly what defense they're running so that I could implement what we've practiced on and studying for this team. So we don't like it. But at the same time, it does get you ready. You get rid of that, you get a lot of games where just some teams will be ready, some people won't. A lot of lopsided, a lot of ugly football in the beginning.
Stanley Cup Final begins on Saturday. Are you kidding me? It's the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers from Miami. Game 1 is on Saturday in South Florida. We're going to talk to the manager of the Oilers. We'll do that next. Ken Holland will join us. But first, a message from Dr. Pierce, our WSN Injury Insider.
And it is Woodward Sports Insider, Dr. Jeffrey Pierce. Every Thursday, he comes on the show, but this is just a little bit. The medical doctor and director of Michigan Sports and Spine Center. Every Tuesday on Big D Energy. Every Thursday, like I just said, on Ermanni Networks with Maz, brought to you by MRI of Southfield, featuring the most advanced imaging and maximum patient comfort for over 20 years. That's right, maximum patient coverage for over 20 years. Jeffrey Pierce.
All right, we'll see Dr. Jeff coming up here tomorrow. Right now, I want to tell you about the best pet store in Michigan. It is PremierPetSupply.com, family-owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food at the lowest prices available, curbside delivery, and they've got nutritionists on call for anything. You know it. Give your pet the best. Don't settle for less. It's PremierPetSupply.com.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda. A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the offseason smells good. Woodward Sports.
Any Lady Jane's haircuts for men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey, gang, welcome back. Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway. It is a rainy day in the city of Detroit, but it is sunny in the cities of Edmonton and South Florida right now. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final on Saturday, and we couldn't be more thrilled for the fans of Edmonton, the city of Edmonton, and for the Oilers organization, because our good friend, president and manager of the Oilers, Ken Holland, who has won 4 Stanley Cups with the Red Wings, is leading the charge there in Edmonton. Ken, we were jumping up and down like it was our team, man. Congratulations on being the Western Conference champions, my friend.
Thank you. We're really excited. Obviously, it was a tough series with Dallas, and they threw everything at us in Game 6, outshot us 35-10, and Stu Skinner was unreal in net for us, and we found a way to kind of grind out a 2-1 win, and we're thrilled to be going to the finals. And we know we got a real big challenge yet here with the Florida Panthers.
Is that what you think maybe was the difference? You know, Skinner in net, the defenders on the back end there. You guys really tightened up defensively, and Skinner stood on his head more times than not.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the penalty killing. I don't think we gave up a power play goal to Dallas in the entire series. Our specialty teams have been really key for us. Our power play, Dallas did a great job on I don't think anybody scored a power play goal till Game 5, and then we had 2 power play goals in Game 5 and 2 power play goals in Game 6, and I think we were 2 for 2 in Game 6 and 2 for 3 in Game 7, and they were 0 for in Game 6 and 7. So specialty teams were key for us to be able to advance out of the series. Special teams are always important, especially come playoff time. Goaltending, we got some depth scoring, and it was a razor thin margin. I talked to Jimmy Neal, my assistant manager in Detroit all those years. He's general manager of Dallas, and then I sent him a text the day after. Either team could have been moving on. It was a really close series, and we feel fortunate that we're moving on and get this opportunity to compete for the Stanley Cup.
Ken, congratulations, Braylon. I was always happy to have you on the show. My favorite player in the NHL now in his first finals, and that is Connor McDavid. So I'm excited about that. But serious question. You've watched the last couple years of hockey, man. It seems like each series is going 6, it's going 7, it's grueling, and then you got to refocus. What is Chris Knobloch's, what's his message to the team? How does he get these guys to kind of shed what just happened with the Dallas Stars and how well they played and how they advanced in 6? How do they shed that to get ready for a team in the Florida Panthers who they've been chomping at this bit now for the better part of 5 years, Ken?
Well, I think, we're fortunate that we've got a break here. We finished off Sunday night, and we don't play until Saturday, so everybody had Monday off, and then he made Tuesday an optional. Today was the first day that we had a team practice, and then tomorrow we leave at 9 o'clock, and we got to fly to Florida, and I think it's 5.5 hours. So a long day and a 2-hour time change to get there.
Ooh.
And then we're going to have a great practice on Friday and get ready for Saturday night. So I think that this break is going to help us get refocused here on get everybody recharged and refreshed. Same thing for Florida. They won their series on Saturday night. We won our series on Sunday. So I think this break for both teams is going to have is going to really make for a great a series where both teams are fresh and ready to roll with their A game. And I think for Chris Knobloch, I think I'm talking to Chris. Our team got out of the gate 2-9-1 to start the year, and then we hired Chris. So we had some adversity right off the bat at the start of the year, and the team really responded to Chris Knobloch. And we're down 3-2 going in, coming home to play Vancouver in the second round. We got to win Game 6 at home, and we got to go win a Game 7 on the road and knock out Vancouver. And we're down 2-1 playing Dallas, and Game 4 is at home. We're down 2-0, 5 minutes or 6 minutes into Game 4, and found a way to dig in there and win Game 4, and obviously won the series. So basically, we faced lots of adversity throughout this year, and we found a way to kind of overcome the adversity. And it's going to be the same thing here going into this series. We're playing a team that was in the finals last year. They're battle tested. They watched the team Vegas celebrate with the Stanley Cup. When you get to the finals, you have that picture in your mind. So, this is a veteran team. They're big, they're strong, they're battle tested, and we know that we've got a real challenge ahead. But we also feel great about ourselves. Like I said, we've gone through all this adversity. I think from the time Chris Knobloch came over to the end of the year, I think we had the best. We had a 707 winning percentage. I think we were either first or one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the league the last 70 games in terms of winning percentage. So we've played at a high level all year. We've faced adversity, and we feel good about ourselves, and we're excited about this opportunity.
Hey, Kenny, it's been since 1990, 89-90, since the Oilers skated the Cup, and it's been since 1993 since a Canadian team and the Montreal Canadiens have brought home the Cup back to their home country in Canada. How much pressure is on this Oilers team? Are they even thinking of that?
Well, you know what, Tom, I think there's always tremendous pressure. I don't care what sport you're in, whether it's, football or baseball or hockey and basketball, you want to win a championship. And then when you want to win 2. And we've got 2 players on our team that have gone to the Stanley Cup Finals. One has won Corey Perry won a Stanley Cup with Anaheim. I think then they beat us on the way in 19 or 07. They beat us in the third round and then won the Cup. And then, Corey's lost 3 other times in the finals. And then Matthias Ekholm played with Nashville the year that they lost to Pittsburgh in either 16 or 17. So, we haven't got anybody here that's other than Corey Perry that's won a Stanley Cup. So right off the bat, there's that determination and opportunity and the media. So certainly people want to add in your Canadians, your Canada's team. I just think as an athlete, both from the Florida Panthers and from the Edmonton Oilers, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. It's an opportunity. One of these teams is going to get their names put on the Stanley Cup, and you're going to be a Stanley Cup champion forever. And if you've won before, then you're a 2-time or you're a 3-time. So whether, for the last Canadian team, you just, as an athlete, you just want to finish the year off being a Stanley Cup champion. And I think that's motivation enough. And you got to put everything kind of else. You got to be single-minded and focused on the job at hand, and everything else you got to try to keep out there because it's a distraction. But certainly when we go into Florida on Friday, there's a tremendous amount of media here. Well, we're probably going to double it up. They're all traveling from here, and they're going down to Florida, and there's already a whole bunch of media that's been down to Florida covering Florida and the Rangers. So that's the beautiful part about being involved in a awesome Stanley Cup final. Lots of media, lots of attention, and lots of excitement. And your team has to put all that to the outside and stay focused on the job at hand.
I'll never forget those days at the Joe, walking in there with all the air conditioning and fans downstairs, pumping that cold air onto the ice, keeping it at a perfect level. There was nothing like it. It was so exciting. People intense all throughout the Joe Louis Arena concourse. It's an amazing event. You got guys like Mark Messier now, who of course was a great Oiler. Wayne Gretzky now. They're analysts now, and are they gonna be finding their way into the dressing room at any time, Kenny?
Well, I'm sure lots of them, many of them are going to be down there. So I'm sure, all around the rink. So obviously, when you get to there's just league people and there's people from all, like you said, from media people. So I'm sure we'll be bumping into them. My assistant general manager is Keith Gretzky. Obviously, he's Wayne's brother, so I know that Keith has been talking to Wayne every day throughout this playoff. So I'm sure Wayne. I'm sure we'll see Wayne down there. Lots. It's just an exciting time of the year for
who's
organizations.
Who? No doubt, Kenny. Hey, do you see anything Red Wing-ish in this team? A young Red Wing team versus a young Oilers team?
Well, I would say to you, Tom, that for me, when I came here in 2019 as the general manager, I just reflected back on the 90s when we lost, I think in 93, 94, we lost in the first round to San Jose. I think we had 38 more points.
Yep.
In 92, we lost to Toronto in Game 7 in overtime in the first round. And then the process that we had to go, and then we got to the finals in 95. And we'd gone through the playoffs, 12 wins, 2 losses. And then we got swept out by New Jersey. And then the next year we came back and we won the President's Trophy, and you think you're ready to win the Stanley Cup, and we lose in the third round to Colorado, and they go on and win the Cup. And ultimately, you gotta keep banging on the door. You gotta build a team, and you need, you can't have one opportunity and win one cup. Like, you got to be banging on the door. We went to the Final Four here, So in 2019, my feeling was we got to try to build this team up, and you got to get into the playoffs, and you got to be in the playoffs annually. And fortunately, we've been able to do that. We had disappointment 2 years ago when we lost in the third round against Colorado. But I think at that time there was more of a feeling that they were a little more ready to win. They'd been at it for a couple more years. We kind of felt pretty good about our accomplishment. And then last year, I know there was a massive, massive disappointment when we lost in the second round to Vegas, and they went on and won the Stanley Cup. So all these experiences, I think, have helped us, be down 3-2 to Vancouver and come back and win the series. And I just talked about the Dallas thing, being down 2-1 and finding a way to win the last 3 games. So those experiences that I lived with the Detroit Red Wings, I'm not a player. I'm just sitting in the press box. But you try to build a team that, is banging away there. You got to, over 82 games, you got to qualify for the tournament. And then those experiences, those past experiences, one day you believe are going to make a difference, because all those disappointments that we had in Detroit in 93 and 94 and 95 and 96, I think were factors in us winning the Stanley Cup in 97 and 98. And, it's just, it's fuel. It motivates you, it drives you, and and you're just more prepared for the adversity. Part of whoever wins the Stanley Cup every year has dealt with some adversity and been down in series, and you don't win 4-1, 4-1, 4-1, 4-1 in 4 series and just kind of cruise your way. You gotta deal with adversity along the way. That's within games, within series, within periods, and within the playoff run. So that's what we've been at. Now we're playing a team that's also been through that, and both teams are ready to roll, and it should be a tremendous series.
Hey, Ken, last one from me. Something like 78-80% of the population in America lives in the Eastern and Central time zones. If you want to watch Connor McDavid play, You're staying up till 10 o'clock. I think of the kids. I think of my own kid who's a 7-year-old kid who you just can't stay up till 10 o'clock and watch Connor McDavid play. How important is this for the game of hockey, for Connor McDavid, the best player in the world, to be featured on a stage like this at such a young age, on such a big stage with all this attention?
Well, I think it's great for our game. I mean, I'm lucky. I've had the pleasure here to have had a front row seat here for 4 or 5 seasons now to watch. I mean, did you see the goal that he scored the other night against Dallas?
It was incredible. It was incredible. You never seen anything like it.
I mean, again, and that's a world-class defenseman in high school. I mean, how many people in the world can do that? Maybe he's the only person. So certainly now we're on prime time. Games start at 8 o'clock Eastern time every night. Actually being in the Final Four, and it's at least when you get into the Final Four here, East one night, West one night, back and forth. The games are on at 8 o'clock Eastern time. So you get the. Prior to that, we were always playing at 10 o'clock at night, like you said. I know. Even when in Detroit, when we were playing, we'd play say Anaheim or LA in a playoff series. I'd get home the next. My people would tell me, boy, I watched a period or two and I went to bed. I got to work the next day. So, and those were Red Wing fans in Detroit.
Yes.
They went to bed.
We hated that
if you're
Western
living in another
Conference.
city, they must be going to bed for sure. So certainly being in the Final Four, now being in the finals, just for the fans of hockey to be able to see Connor McDavid is great for our sport. And there's so many great players in our sport that certainly the Stanley Cup Finals is an opportunity. You want to win the cup, but it's to showcase what great players, what great athletes, and what a great game we've got. Certainly it's going to be great for Connor, for our team, to be in prime time on a world stage playing against a world-class team. And they've got Barkov and Kachuk. They've got incredible players too. So it just has the makings of an incredible series. Competitively, to showcase our game, to showcase our athletes. It should be an incredible couple of weeks.
Hey, Kenny, has that beautiful Oilers fan in the audience that
God bless
that's been flashing people, has she been found yet? And what are the players thinking about all of this? It's a lot of action going on, Kenny.
I haven't seen anything. I've heard about it. But with this time of the year, you know what? It's incredible. You guys remember the parades there in '97 and '98, and all the people out in Detroit and the passion. I think the one thing that hockey does, it's a passionate sport.
Yeah.
And the fans, if you love hockey, the fans are incredibly passionate.
They are.
And right now, obviously, this city's rocking up here. Woo. And they haven't been in the Stanley Cup Finals since, I think, 2006. It's been 18 years since an Edmonton Oilers team's been in the Stanley Cup Finals. So passion makes people do all kind of interesting things.
Ken, my entire feed is, thanks to this Edmonton Oilers fan, I am now an Oilers fan.
We are all Oilers fans, Kenny.
Best of luck to you,
Okay,
Ken.
love to hear it.
Best
Thanks,
of luck
guys.
to you, Ken.
Thanks, Kenny. We'll be in touch.
That's the greatest. Oh, man.
Thanks.
See you, bud.
Go Oilers. Go Oilers. No doubt about it.
Hey, Florida's got their own flasher.
Oh.
Have you seen her as well?
No, I have not seen
Okay.
it. She cannot hold a candle to this one.
That's
here
what you
in
think.
Edmonton. We'll be right back. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm.
What happens when you see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house? It tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Stay out.
Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. And that technology has been proven to work, and those people have been proven to care. So call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
Call today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. We'll be right back.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media. And we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
To any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the offseason smells good. Woodward Sports.
Hey, I want to tell you about Katie Law divorce, dealing with divorce, child custody, and visitation, maybe some other family law issues. Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham will have your back. 10 plus years of experience and 24/7 availability. Scan the QR code on the screen right now, or you can call 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you, and KDK will pay for your filing fee. KDK Law, they've got your back.
Yeah.
Great to hear Ken Holland there.
So-
Great to hear him talk about that Oilers fan, too. That Oilers fan, you know, it's amazing when you click on something, how your algorithm changes.
Yeah.
Right? Kenny, you know about this.
Yeah.
I mean, I clicked on that Oilers fan one time.
That's all it takes.
And almost every post is about her, involves her, a reaction to her, another angle of her.
She's got so many options out there as far as
all the jokes that come with that.
Yes.
Like this one post continue. Thanks to you, I'm now an Oilers fan. I mean, it just infiltrates my feed.
That's okay.
Yeah, sure. But
No, it's not.
I'm not opposed to it. I'm just saying, I'm no prude over here.
No, I know that.
It's just amazing how you click one thing. Like, for instance, and I don't want to talk about it.
It's the algorithm, man.
But it's like you click on one Caitlin Clark story.
Yeah.
And your whole thing is inundated with the Caitlin Clark stuff.
Yeah. Everything else gets pushed down.
Everything else. It's like the only thing people are posting about are this Oilers fan or Caitlin Clark or Charles Barkley or NBA rights deal. I mean, no matter what, you almost have to deliberately seek something out, click on that, and have everything change from that point.
I'm telling you, that story it's going to be an exploding story on television. You think the Florida women are going to take that? They're not going to take that. The Florida women are going to come out to that arena and they are going to do their own. They're going to do their own brand of whatever you want to call it. It's going to be a great series. I cannot wait. And the hockey should be good.
Yeah.
I gotta give your boy Max. I gotta give my homeboy Max some credit. That's algorithm stuff, Ryan. I would legitimately like send Max like little clips, little videos, things like that. He would purposely not click on certain stuff because it messes your algorithm up. And now this
I never knew that.
Like dude, you sent me the Tony Gwynn thing one time,
right here,
and the next 200 videos I had were on Tony Gwynn.
Or that baseball that
yesterday,
era.
you guys were sending me you because we have a 3-person chat, just the three of us. Sorry, everybody.
We've had that since 2021.
We've had that for 4 years. 3 years, whatever. But last night I'm doing the playoff game for my little league, and all these texts come. I'm like, I'm not clicking nothing right now. I'm not clicking nothing.
That's
real though.
How those
been in a
tin
relationship,
caps?
and she sends me all this type of stuff. You know what my algorithm is? All my algorithm stuff is like boyfriend, girlfriend stuff. Like like jokes and jokes and jokes. I'm like, okay, let me click on something else to change my
You gotta
algorithm.
seek it out.
Right. How are those tin caps?
Oh man, playoff win last night. Still 0 for the season. My little guy's still 0 for the season.
What's his energy level at?
Oh man, you know what? They're winning. So it's he made 2 nice plays in the field yesterday.
Good.
Did his job.
Nice.
He got a ground ball, threw it to first. Didn't get the guy, but he got the ground ball,
They
threw
got
it
him
to
playing on
first
the
base.
infield?
1 inning.
Nice.
1 inning because you got to play in different positions.
Smart.
And then there was a ball hit to the outfield, and he fielded that, got it into the infield.
Okay.
I mean,
so he's paying attention.
Yeah, he's paying attention.
That's half the battle.
Absolutely.
Now you got to do it. What I told you to do. Just
Go to
have him
the
stick it.
cages.
Just have him stick his bat out. Stick the bat out. Make contact and run like hell.
Right.
Hey, we got
Great, now
intern
he's a
Alex in
bunter.
about 10 minutes, just to remind everybody.
Intern Alex,
Intern
Wolverine
Alex,
Wednesday.
Wolverine Wednesday.
Today's Wednesday?
It is.
Wednesday.
Oh, my gosh.
It is.
You know, I am college football playoff schedule just came out.
Oh, wow.
Actually, today. We'll get that up for him coming up when we talk to intern Alex.
Excellent.
We'll talk to him about that and all things Michigan, see how the offseason's going. I did want to go around the NFL if we could do that.
We can.
Tomorrow's going to be a big NBA day. I do want to touch on the NBA today a little bit, but with the NBA Finals Game 1 tomorrow, I think tomorrow's an appropriate day to hit all that NBA.
Sounds good, man.
I agree.
Hey, a former Lion has found himself a new gig, and it was an old gig, actually. Cam Sutton. We know the story. Probably made something that was small into a huge thing. He lost his job here with the Lions. He re-signed with the team that he came from. The Pittsburgh Steelers signed him. Veterans minimum contract today for Cam Sutton. So Cam Sutton's back in the NFL. That was quick.
Good for him.
Yeah.
And I think this is twofold. I think the first thing about it is Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is a great coach. He coached Cam Sutton before he got here. He's going to take care of his guys if he has an opportunity. This is why he is the consummate player coach in the NFL. And I think, too, it's one of those situations where situation came out, the Florida police or the Florida Sheriff's Department made it a much bigger deal, maybe, than it really was. Maybe there was some inconsistency in the story with the young lady on what she said happened, this, that, and the third. Seems like maybe the Steelers vetted the process and they didn't see it as such a serious situation as maybe the Lions saw it. And they need help at the defensive back position, so they brought him back in. So good for him. And look, sometimes all it takes is one brush situation and get you back on the straight and narrow. So I wish him nothing but the best. And maybe that's more so what it was.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened on that night. I don't know what happened with the police. What I do know is that if there's one guy in the league that could help him, it's Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
You know, Mike Tomlin is just one of those guys that I think, demand and command a certain level of respect. And if Cam Sutton was going to get another shot, good that it's with Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin don't put up with nothing.
No.
You know, so
I'm happy for Cam, too.
I'm happy for Cam. I'm happy for him. It's great.
It's also funny. It's not funny. It also just shows you that you never know who's going to be wanting to extend the olive branch and when you might have to go back to a place. Because remember how he kind of got out of there? It was like the agent, the Steelers weren't picking up the phone. They weren't talking extension. They were kind of like, F the Steelers. We're out.
They didn't want to pay him.
Exactly. Said, you know what? The hell with the Steelers. We're coming to Detroit. Detroit's the move. Sign the dotted line. He comes here. Things happen. And now he's back in Pittsburgh. Sometimes it's like, don't burn bridges because you never know where you'll go back to.
100%.
Yeah, don't burn bridges.
100%.
Hey, Dan Campbell yesterday spoke out about the great Larry Allen. Larry Allen, a great offensive lineman, Hall of Famer with the Dallas Cowboys. One of the best that ever played the game.
Do we know how he passed away? No,
it was a sudden death. It was a sudden. To me, it sounds like it was just a heart attack.
Yeah.
52 years old. I watched the video of Emmitt Smith talk about him, 5 minutes. All he did was cry the entire 5 minutes as he was talking about him. Dan Campbell played with him in Dallas, and he wanted to speak yesterday. This is how he started his press conference.
I really need to start with Larry Allen. Larry was a teammate of mine for 3 years at Dallas. And, man, I'm like everybody. Man, I thoughts and prayers go out to his family. Anybody that was around Larry will tell you, I mean, what an unbelievable dude he was. What an unbelievable human being, unbelievable teammate. And then his play on the field speaks for itself. He was a rare player. And so I just can't believe it. And anyway, I'm really thinking about his family. But what an outstanding human being LA was, man. So I just wanted to start with that.
Campbell doesn't mix words. This is a guy you can tell he really felt truly about the things that he was saying. He felt those things as a player, as a teammate, as a friend, if you will. He felt those things. Larry Allen, in terms of his ability, his freakish strength, his speed at his size, when you think of athletic individuals, or you think of the Justin Jeffersons, or you think of Devontae Adams, or you're thinking of Jahmyr Gibbs, or you're thinking of, insert basketball player here, you don't necessarily think of the big uglies as athletic individuals. I'm here to tell you that's wrong. He was one of the guys that I couldn't wait to meet at some point just because of a certain play that he did. Maz, Ryan, you know the play that I'm talking about, and my man James and Pete, they have that play. Go ahead and hit that play for us.
Left in the hand, and that's not in the air and picked off by Darius Leonard.
And 30 pounds, folks. 330 pounds. Not giving up on the play, taking the angle, beating the linebacker to the angle. Like,
this guy's got a rocket.
I'll shut up and let you watch it.
To his back. All right, there's the bat by Martin. Right in.
Bring the volume down, guys.
Still standing there. There he is to the left of your screen.
Look at him. Look at him.
Look at this, folks. 6'3", 325 pounds.
That's
Look at Larry.
Insane.
Look at Larry Allen.
Larry Allen.
That is insane.
Like, that's more than impressive. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, you got yourself one on the Detroit Lions that's capable of the same things, and that's Penei Sewell. But rest in peace to Larry Allen. Hell of a man, hell of a player, just hell of a teammate. Because guys like that, like, it's not for an offensive lineman to have to take that play or make that play. We know that time and time again. In fact, he made that play, let you know how he felt about his team, Dallas Cowboys.
You're not kidding. You don't think his quarterback, his running back, his wide receiver appreciated what he did?
100% they did.
And then put it in the defense's hands. I don't know if the Saints scored after that, but I bet you Dallas won.
I would garner to think they did.
I bet you Dallas won that game.
Yeah.
Though, and they were terrific, man. And he's going to be missed. Hey, when you weren't, one day you missed is the day that Justin Jefferson signed his big contract.
Oh, yeah.
So before I bring up CeeDee Lamb's name, I want to talk to you about Justin Jefferson. $35 million a year. The highest paid player, non-quarterback in the history of the NFL.
And he deserves it. I mean, you look at, you're talking 4 years worth. This would be his 5th year in the NFL. He's got 4 years worth of highlights that let you know he is exactly
He's amazing.
what he is. He's a genuine article, whether it's to play against the Colts, whether it's to play against the Green Bay Packers. I can go on and on and on. He is electric. He's a guy that you now understand. Remember when the move first happened, it was, why are they getting rid of Stephon Diggs? I don't understand this. You're getting rid of Stephon Diggs after that the playoff run that they had? Well, it's because they knew what they had in Justin Jefferson out of LSU. He deserves the money.
Minneapolis Miracle, Stephon Diggs.
And then they got rid of him. And now this guy is much better than Stephon Diggs, at least at this point in their career. He's worth the money. And here is going to come back to the age-old conversation, him or Amon-Ra St. Brown?
No.
Okay.
Justin Jefferson, $35 million. Christian McCaffrey, $19 million?
19 additional money.
It's an extension.
19 additional.
Go look at his average number per year.
Is it really that low?
I believe it is.
We have a Christian McCaffrey slide here, fellas. I don't remember exactly what he made. Kenny, do you know what he made prior to getting this $19 million?
I do not.
Yeah, he was making 19, I think, I want to say. I mean, he makes the most.
McCaffrey resets
17.
running back market again with new deal. 2-year extension.
$38 million.
Niners added $8 million over McCaffrey, was scheduled to make $24 million in guarantees. $24 million in guarantees. So yeah, I mean, I believe it's $19 million.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, no,
too.
that's right. Yeah. So, but those 2 seasons, $0 remaining dollars, base salary of $11 million and $12 million.
Wow.
So they added $8 million. So $19 million in 24, $21 million in 25.
Wow.
I mean, this is just the going rate for the wide receiver position. Like,
I know, but McCaffrey.
Yeah, but McCaffrey's on a team that has the best offensive mind. You gotta factor all those things in. He's on a team with the best offensive mind in football in Kyle Shanahan. I don't think that's up for debate. Then he's on a team with Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel's actually the player that they go through for their offense. He's also on the team with Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk's a guy that is up for potential number one wide receiver money. If it's not, it's number two, which is still $27 million. Yeah. And he's on the team with George Kittle, who 3 years ago was in the same conversation with Travis Kelce as the best tight end in the league. So I think when you break it down like that, it just is what it is. But what I like about it, though, Jahmyr Gibbs is showing you that you can have some longevity out of the running back position because San Francisco trusts him because they expect to get more out of him in his next couple of years. So I think Jahmyr Gibbs, I think that's what it's good for. The Jahmyr Gibbs situation, the Lions knowing that, you know what, maybe he's not a 5-year deal. Maybe he's not a 6-year deal. Maybe he's a 8 to 10-year deal.
So who's next in line? CeeDee Lamb. What did CeeDee Lamb do? He no-showed camp, and he ain't showing up until he gets a new deal. So CeeDee Lamb is next up, folks.
And
what's he going to get?
He should get paid.
Because he's damn good.
Yeah, he's not as good as Justin Jefferson, but
not.
He's good. He had his real breakout year the last 2 years,
Just
especially
as good
last
numbers.
year. 100% numbers don't tell the
Hard
true
to
story.
argue. I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally get it. I know what you're saying. But if you're just looking at, if you're CeeDee Lamb and you're like, I am this team, there is no Jordan Addison
no tight
playing
end,
next
no running back.
There's no
other wide receiver.
Who's the guy from the Lions, the tight
Hawkinson.
end?
Yeah, Hawkinson.
There's no Hawkinson.
Because they got rid of Dalton Schultz last year. They sent him down to the Texans.
Houston, yeah.
You know what? Like, he should get paid. And the good thing for him, if I'm CeeDee Lamb, I don't have to worry about getting paid because there's one thing that the owner of the Dallas Cowboys does, and that's take care of the guys that he drafts. Like, he is all in on the guys that he drafts. His handprint is right there on the guys, whether it's Dak, whether it's Zeke, and now CeeDee Lamb. He'll get paid. He'll get paid, and we'll see how it plays out.
Wearing that 88.
I'm just glad I was right about one thing, because he came in the same time as Jerry Jeudy. And a lot of people like Jeudy over him. I said CeeDee Lamb is going to be a guy. Go ahead.
Does he get paid more than Justin Jefferson?
No. And he has to know that that's not going to be the case.
I'd settle on $32 million
and be good with it. Because the one thing about it, no state tax in Texas, as well as when you play for Texas, your off the field deals are what make you a ton of money as well. Because Jerry's going to get you implemented in the community, and it's Dallas. Much as we hate to say
you're a cowboy for life.
They are still America's team.
Wolverine Wednesday is coming up next, but first a message from Wake Up Woodward.
Woodward Sports has a new morning show. Start your day with Wake Up Woodward, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. live on Woodward Sports. Join Kool-Aid, Flannel Sam, Broder, JB, and KG every morning as they cover all of Detroit sports, sports talk, banter, and live fan interaction. All on Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Try out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week, walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
What's better than crispy chicken and pizza? Watching your favorite team play? The answer is nothing. And that's what Soroki's wants you to do and continue to do, because their crispy chicken and pizza are fire. And speaking of fire, the Nashville Hot is back, but for a limited time only. That's the piece of the sandwich and the tenders. And also, don't forget, they do have the Nashville Hot Fries. If it's too hot for you, man, you can just go with the original, man. The original is still popping, still cracking, and oh my God, don't forget about the honey and the biscuits. Those biscuits are to die for, at least to live for. Maybe let me change that word, but Soroki's is where it's at, man. Popping up over all metropolitan Detroit. Nashville Hot, limited time only.
Hey, welcome back. It is time now for Wolverine Wednesdays with our good friend intern Alex, brought to you by Skinny Butcher. And Alex, thanks so much for the time, bud. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. Long time no see you, Ryan. How are you doing?
I know. You know, summer's just trickling along here, buddy. Summer's just trickling along. I'm, what do they say? Lightening my load during the summer months.
Pause.
Pause.
There you go, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, yo.
Whoa.
Hey, Alex, I wanted to show you this. Just came out a little bit ago. College football playoff schedule has just been released. The first round of the playoffs is going to be Friday, December 20th, with a standalone game. Then there will be a triple header on that Saturday, December 21st. The playoff quarterfinals, one game will be played New Year's Eve night, and then a triple header on New Year's Day with the Rose Bowl game, by the way, 5 p.m., January 1st.
Jeez.
How great is that?
Wow.
The playoff semifinals on Thursday, January 9th and Friday, January 10th. 2 games, solo days.
Thursday, Friday.
That's
great.
And then the national championship game, Monday night, January 20th at 7:30 p.m. on ESPN. So that is the college football playoff schedule.
Yeah, beautiful.
And the question I have for you, intern Alex, is will Michigan be playing in it?
Yes, they will. I think Michigan 100% will be playing in the college football playoff this year. I think I've been saying this a lot recently. I think there are 3 games that Michigan can lose this year: Ohio State, Oregon, and Texas. And I think they're ultimately going to come out with the win in at least one of those 3 games. Probably, hopefully 2 out of the 3 or 3 out of the 3. But really, if you get one of those games out of the way, you're either losing to a team that will be in the SEC championship in Texas, who I firmly believe will make it, or if Michigan loses to Ohio State or Oregon, both of those teams are probably going to make the Big Ten championship as well. So, even though college football has historically been a sport about, chasing perfection the whole season, and that's how, you make your bowl game and win your conference, that's really not the case anymore. So there are games now that Michigan is going to be able to afford to drop. So I think we will see them playing ultimately, hopefully not in that first batch of 4 games, because that means we didn't win the Big Ten. But, I think we will be seeing them play some football in December this year.
But either way, Alex, I mean, you just mentioned it. Let's just say that Michigan loses those 3 games that you mentioned. With this expansion, I believe they could still get into the playoffs at 9-3 with losing to those teams. Do you?
I'm not so sure about that, to be honest, because the way with the new playoff system is set up, you have to remember the top 4 seeds are going to be the 4 highest ranked conference champions, which those are likely going to be, the Big Ten, SEC, ACC, and Big 12 champion. And then there's also one playoff spot reserved for the highest ranked Group of 5 champion. So, we really have to look here and see, will Michigan be, in the next 7 highest ranked teams in college football who are not those 5 conference champions, which you think they will if they have some close losses there. But, there are a lot of good teams in the SEC this year, like Ole Miss looking good. Alabama isn't looking like they're going to take too big of a step back. In the Big Ten, if Michigan doesn't win it, Ohio State and Oregon are going to be knocking on the door right there. Then you always have, your USCs and the Big 12's looking strong as well, with Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Utah, all looking like they can make some dangerous runs this year. So if Michigan really goes 0-3 in that gauntlet of the games we have against the highly ranked opponents, I'm not feeling great about us making the playoffs, and I feel like we're going to see us be playing like Missouri in the Outback Bowl on New Year's Day instead of watching us in the college football playoff.
Alex, what's going on, my guy? Always good to talk to you on these Wolverine Wednesdays, sponsored by Skinny Butcher. Dumb question. Does it taint the national championship if somehow a team in a major conference loses their conference championship, doesn't make their conference championship, but somehow wins the natty? They get through the gauntlet, which is that playoff system that we saw illustrated by Ryan Ermanni. Does it taint it at all if they don't win the conference championship and the national championship?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, that's something we've already seen before. If you remember in 2017, Alabama didn't even win their own division.
Nope.
Auburn won the SEC West that year. And when, then lost the SEC championship game to Georgia, and then Nick Saban subs in 2 in the second half and won the national championship. So yeah, from the college football purist perspective, it really does kind of taint the national championship if you're not the best team in your own conference or division, or there are no more divisions but formerly divisions, and now we're calling you that national champion. And so that's tainted a little bit. And then a lot of the big proponents of college football playoff expansion, they talk about the years, how they're looking forward to a Cinderella run and stuff. But I really think in college football, the Cinderella story is not going to be some group of 5 team like a Boise State or a Memphis running the gauntlet. It's going to be the year, the 9-3 LSU team sneaks in the playoff and then gets hot and wins a national championship. So I do think the title national champion is slightly tainted with this expanded playoff.
I agree.
Alex, one of the things I'm looking at last year's final rankings before the playoffs, and there were from teams 8 to 12, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So that's 5 teams. Those 5 teams had 2 losses. LSU was 13th at 9-3. I think, though, and maybe I could be totally wrong by this, but with the expansion, with Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC, with Washington, Oregon, USC, and UCLA coming to the Big Ten, and everybody playing everybody now, there's no gimmies. Michigan can't play 4 cupcakes at the beginning of the year. You're probably going to lose more games to better teams because the schedules are going to get so much harder. That's why I think a team with 3 losses could potentially get in. And if so, even if it's 2 losses or 3 losses, whatever, I just feel like Michigan at the end of the year will be so much better than at the beginning of the year. Yeah. And that makes for a dangerous team.
Yeah, I think it leads to a dangerous team. I think it'll lead to increased development for, further seasons. Even though next year, Michigan totally can make a national championship run if the defense is up to the standards we think so. I mentioned the gauntlet of 3 games of Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, but those are all very pass-first offenses. And one of the best things about Wink Martindale is he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL at pass defense. Like last year, despite the Giants giving up some of the most points in the NFL, they held opponents to the 7th lowest completion percentages and forced the 3rd most interceptions. They just happen to be cursed with one of the worst offenses in the NFL that never helped them out. But luckily, we know Michigan has a complementary offense for them that should help keep the defense off the team. So this is still even though we're coming off a national championship year and losing a lot of talent, we still have a lot of hope. And iron's going to sharpen iron. And this Michigan team, the teams in the new Big Ten and SEC, come playoff time, they're going to be ready to play and run with the best of them. Because these teams in the Big 12 and the ACC are not going to be as battle-hardened and tested as these other ones. So that makes me feel good about Michigan if they at least do drop a few of those games.
Hey, Alex, quick pivot from football to the basketball side of things in Ann Arbor. I know they aren't good, but I had a chance to meet Dusty May this past Sunday at the Grand Prix and really thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed the authenticity about the direction of the program that he plans to go in. Followed up with a call on Saturday. I really like Dusty May as the head coach now in Ann Arbor. What do you know about him, and what you heard and what you've seen, do you trust what the process could be with the Wolverine basketball team?
Yeah, I absolutely trust the process with Dusty May. He started his career as a student at Indiana as an assistant for the basketball team when he was an undergrad, and he's just worked his way up the ranks by hustling the entire time. And then one thing I really like is his openness about using the transfer portal and NIL to help build a program. Because a lot of times, Michigan in recent years in the athletic department, even though, we say we're leaders and the best, a lot of times with NIL and the portal, we have not really been leading the charge. We've been kind of following, sitting back a little, seeing how it all plays out. So I really like having a new head coach coming in and just being really aggressive with the portal and being able to adapt to the modern ways of college sports and especially college basketball because, building through the portal is more effective in a sport where you only have 5 guys on the court instead of 11 on the field at one time.
The great intern, Alex. Our weekly visit with him, Wolverine Wednesdays, brought to you by our friends at Skinny Butcher. Alex, thanks so much, man. What's happening this summer? Anything good? We're going to see you in studio at any point?
Oh, yeah. I'll be stopping by the studio sometime to say hi. So you guys will catch me soon.
Sounds like a plan, my friend. Good to see you, buddy, and we'll talk to you next week. Guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, hit on the Tigers. One thing about the Tigers that I got to get off my chest. So we'll get there next.
Here we go.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Ham for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Yo, Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Try out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola, really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking, and the offseason smells good. Woodward Sports.
Jack Flaherty threw a gem last night, got a win against the defending World Series champion Rangers, and so much talk about what the Tigers will do here. The 31-30.
Only 3 strikeouts, though.
Just a couple of games out of a wild card berth right now, and I just have a hard time believing. And I understand, trade these guys, trade this guy, trade that guy. Don't trade anybody. How about that? There is no guarantee that Scott Harris is going to get some haul for these guys, for anybody. Now, if you can get one of those players from Baltimore that are just studs, like a Jackson Holiday, or one of the
trade with Toronto. Toronto's scuffling. Go get Vladdy Guerrero. Let him play first base for you for the next 10 years.
Can you get that guy?
Why not? If they're going down the tubes.
Let me say, if you can get a Vlad Guerrero, a Bo Bichette, a Jackson Holiday, by all means. Anybody else, you cannot trade any of these guys.
You need a first baseman, a third baseman, and a shortstop.
Listen to me. Go buy one. What about Matt Holliday this offseason? How about go buy one? Do that first. But you cannot Man, if you get in the playoffs, Braylon, if you get in, this pitching staff can win a series. I watch the Dodgers almost every night. If those 4 batters, Betts, Ohtani, Freeman, and Will Smith are not hitting, you will win the game. You win.
You're right. Yeah.
And trust me, they don't hit more often than they hit. You just see the highlights.
They're 300 hitters, so 3 out of 10.
And it's incredible, man. This pitching staff is so good. How the ownership couldn't see that coming into this year.
But Flaherty is a reclamation project.
Yeah, he's a special.
Flaherty aside, man. Flaherty aside, with Reese Olson and Tarek Skubal and Casey Mize has pitched well.
Matt Manning up and down.
Matt Manning is up and down. Bo Brisky.
Jackson Jobe is coming.
You've just got some arms, man. And I think if you get in, this team would be very dangerous.
Well, we had Lynn Henning on the other day. Braylon and I talked to him. And he's like, listen, guys, you've got arms coming down the pike.
I know.
You've got them coming. That's where you have to deal a strength to get something else.
This team, forgive me, and Scott Harris, maybe he deserves more credit than I'm giving him, but forgive me for thinking that Scott Harris is going to get you a bat that you can insert into your lineup for the next 8 years.
I get it. We don't know him. We don't know.
I'm sorry.
He's not Dave Dombrowski yet. We don't know him.
It is interesting. I kind along the same lines with you, I think every year you're trying to worry about, all right, we're at the trade deadline. Who can we trade? Who can we trade to maybe get another bat, bring somebody in, or let's trade Scuba, or let's trade Flaherty. You know, why not definitely keep Scuba? I don't know. He should be not on the chopping block at all. Flaherty, he was a piece that they were thinking about moving. Now with his back tightness, we don't know what's going to go on with that. But I agree, Ryan. If you can bring one of those guys in to help yourself out because you really, really, really need bats, this is a pitching staff that is showing you at least through the first half of this season that they can be there in the clutch at the end of the season. So I don't, whatever you do, keep Scuba. Yeah. I don't care about anything else. Keep Tarek Scuba.
I'm with you there. I'm totally with you there.
Yeah, keep Tarek
Hey, they
Scuba.
split with the Red Sox at Fenway. Awesome. Now they've taken at least two out of three from Texas. They play game 3 tonight. Kenta Maeda. We'll see how many innings he can last.
See how many runs he gets.
Exactly. They'll probably be tonight's game was probably 10-9.
He pitched yesterday.
10-something probably tonight.
Right.
So they are one game over 500. Come the All-Star break, if they are 1, 2, 3 games over 500, they can't sell off.
Cannot do it.
You can't sell. You've got to buy. Buy. For crying out loud.
Braylon, get us out of here.
Another great show. It's always great when the whole gang is here. And before we go, we got to say shout-outs and great work to James in the booth doing his thing.
Job,
Pete's
James.
got him going in the right direction. Joel, I see you on the side clipping and giving us information. And then my man KG in the audio booth.
You know it.
This Ermanni and Edwards with Mad Show is taking on a different look, and it is for the better. We appreciate you guys trying to bring you the best as we do it here on Woodward Sports Network every day. Tune in tomorrow because the NBA playoffs will be starting. But for now, we'll see you later.
See you, man.